Hello, and thank you for showing interest in HRM Planning Application 22734, a request by WSP on behalf of the property owner Canada Lands Company to enter into a development agreement to permit the redevelopment of the former Shannon Park lands in Dartmouth. My name is Dean McDougall, and I'm the planner assigned to this file. The purpose of this public engagement is information sharing, for HRM staff and the applicant to share information with you about the proposal, but more importantly for you, the public, to comment and share your feedback on the proposal with us. Please note that the feedback provided will inform the process and will form part of the public record. A summary of the responses received will be included in a staff report to Community Council for their consideration on the application. So what is my role in all of this? Well, as I mentioned, I'm the planner assigned to the case, meaning I manage the application through the planning process and its various stages, such as this, the public engagement stage. I'm also the main point of contact for the applicant and general public regarding the application. And lastly, I draft reports, I negotiate with the applicant, and I make a recommendation to council for their consideration on whether to approve or refuse the application. So the proposal is to allow for the creation of a mixed-use community of approximately 7,000 residents. The subject site is located in North Dartmouth at the base of the McKay Bridge. It's located on the coast between the Bedford Institute of Oceanography and Tufts Cove Generation Station. It is a large site, approximately 85 acres in size, and is mostly vacant except for the Shannon Park Elementary School. The site is relatively flat until you come to the coastline where the grades steepen before reaching the harbor. Canada Land's proposal includes 26 new city blocks, approximately 7,000 residents housed in a range of building forms, approximately 145,000 square feet of commercial space, approximately 15.5 acres of public park space, and it will include new public streets, municipal services such as water and sewer, and a new transit facility. So this concept plan and other review materials that go into greater detail on the proposal are available on the application webpage, so we please encourage you to go view and read those. When a planning application is made, it's often enabled by planning policies, meaning it was envisioned that development would happen here and rules and guidelines were written to help shape what that development would look like. Planning in HRM consists of 3 levels of documents. It starts with the regional plan, which is very high level. It looks at the entire municipality, all of HRM, and it identifies where population growth should occur and where investment of services like transit, piped water, and sewer should also occur. The second level of planning policies is the community plan. This plan focuses on a specific geographic area and gets more detailed on what type of development should happen where. Often planning applications which require approval by council are enabled in this plan, in the community plan. For this application, the applicable community plan is the Regional Center Secondary Municipal Planning Strategy, or the Center Plan. The third layer and most detailed planning document is the Land Use Bylaw. This outlines specific zoning and regulations that don't require special approval by council. If you meet the rules, you can go and get a permit without having to engage the public. I've mentioned previously that the applicant is applying for a development agreement, and you may be wondering what that is. Well, a development agreement is a legal agreement between a property owner and the municipality to ensure a site is developed in a particular manner. It's a mechanism to control development of a property or area and will specify the standards and conditions that development must adhere to. In this particular circumstance, the agreement will identify the location of the roads, parks, and new lots, and provide provisions for the subdivision of the land. The agreement will also identify zones for each of the new lots, maximum building heights, specific built form and land use requirements, and the phasing for the development. As mentioned in the previous slide, the subject property falls under the Regional Center Community Plan and Land Use Bylaw, or LUB. This is also known as the Center Plan. So the zone is CDD, Comprehensive Development District. The designation is FGN, Future Growth Node. The existing use is largely vacant except for the school, which is an institutional use. And the enabling policy for the application is Policy 3.34, which is site-specific criteria for the redevelopment of the Shannon Park lands. So under the Center Plan, the Future Growth Node designation is applied to large sites that are currently vacant or contain single-use development, such as shopping centers. These areas have the potential to accommodate significant growth due to their size, location, and proximity to services. So as mentioned, Shannon Park is identified as such a site and is designated FGN for that reason. Site-specific development agreement criteria, so policy 3.34, and a general land use concept for the Shannon Park lands were developed through the public consultation of the Center Plan Package A adoption process. Enabling Policy 3.34 outlines specific criteria that Council shall examine when considering a development agreement for the former Shannon Park lands. It includes criteria such as a mix of building sizes be provided, so mid-rise, 4 to 6 stories, tall mid-rise, 6 to 8 stories, and high-rise buildings, buildings greater than 8 stories in height. Land use requirements that reference to the appropriate zones and sections of the land use bylaw should be included. Parks and open spaces are provided, including a waterfront park, a centrally located multi-use park, and other parks as required. That a transportation network that prioritizes multimodal transportation is included, which includes walking, cycling, transit, and a transit facility and multi-use trails are also provided. And that buildings and public infrastructure is designed and located to mitigate potential climate change and storm surge risks. It's important to note again what exactly is being looked at in this application and what the development agreement will cover. The development agreement is meant to be high level in that it will identify the location of the roads, parks, and the new lots, provide provisions for the subdivision of the land, identify zones, set maximum building heights, set specific built form and land use requirements, and outline the phasing for the development. The development and design of each new building will be done on a lot-by-lot basis via the site plan approval process of the Center Plan, Land Use Bylaw. We have a FAQ available on the application webpage that answers frequent questions that aren't necessarily covered by this application and this proposed agreement, such as affordable housing. So we encourage you please to go to the webpage and have a look at that. In terms of the planning process, this chart outlines the different stages an application goes through. The application was received and reviewed internally by staff. We're now at the third stage of the process, which is the public engagement. After this, there will be further plan revisions and refinement based on your comments and any outstanding items from the internal review. Staff will write a report and draft a development agreement with a policy review and recommendation to Council for their consideration. And the Community Council will hold a public hearing on the application and make a decision. Now, this hearing is another opportunity for the public to speak directly to the deciding body, the Community Council. And lastly, the decision of Community Council is appealable, and there's a 14-day appeal period allowed for that. Thank you for listening. We encourage you to please provide feedback on this application. When formulating your comments, please consider the evaluation criteria we've outlined on the previous slide. The feedback can be provided by completing the survey, which is the link found on the application webpage. And you can also email me or give me a call at the email address and phone number provided on this slide. Thank you again for listening and showing interest. We request that if you do wish to provide feedback or complete the survey, please do so by June 7th. And the link to the application page is shown here in the yellow box. That's all for staff's presentation. Immediately following me is a presentation created by the applicant and the property owner, which outlines in much greater detail their proposed redevelopment plan.
Hello, my name is Chris Millier, and I'm the Senior Director of Real Estate with Canada Lands Company. I'd like to thank you for your time participating in this public engagement component of the development agreement process for our Shannon Park property. Canada Lands Company and its planning consultants, WSP, are pleased to be at this stage in the process to bring this important site forward and enable exciting new housing and new commercial business opportunities in Dartmouth. Canada Lands Company is a self-financing federal crown corporation with a commercial mandate. What this means is that Canada Lands receives no funding from the federal government and is self-sufficient. Canada Lands optimizes the financial and community value from strategic properties that are no longer required by the Government of Canada. The company purchases these properties at fair market value and then holds and manages them or improves them and sells them. Supported by guiding principles of innovation, value, legacy, and social responsibility, the company's goals in all transactions is to produce the best possible benefit for both the local community and the Government of Canada. The company's activities ensure that former government properties are harmoniously reintegrated into the local communities. Canada Land's goal is to help transform surplus parcels and reshape them to meet the needs of Canadians with inspiring and new sustainable neighborhoods in which we can all live, work, and play. I'm happy to be working with Christina Lovett of WSP Canada, who I'll now ask to provide you an overview of our proposal.
This presentation has 4 sections: an introduction to the site, an overview of the master neighborhood planning engagement conducted by Canada Lands and WSP, the preferred development concept, which was developed and reviewed by the public and stakeholders through the previous engagement, and the built form considerations, which are being reviewed for inclusion in the resulting development agreement. Shannon Park is a former military community located in North Dartmouth on the eastern shore of the Halifax Harbour. In 2014, Canada Lands acquired 87 acres of the Shannon Park site from the Department of National Defence. Approximately 10 acres of the former Shannon Park site, including the lands at Tufts Cove, is being transferred to Millbrook First Nation. This land is one of the few remaining large tracts of developable land with direct harbour frontage. Commemoration is a key part of Canada Land's process. Therefore, Canada Lands intends to commemorate Shannon Park's rich history through the development of a new urban neighbourhood. The naming of streets, parks, public spaces, as well as the integration of historical interpretive elements, such as statues or commemorative art, are certain initiatives that can be incorporated into the new neighbourhood to ensure the history of the site carries into the future. Shannon Park is immediately southeast of the McKay Bridge. The surrounding area includes a rich mix of residential neighbourhoods, commercial, industrial, institutional uses, as well as major transportation infrastructure. The site is surrounded by several prominent transportation routes, including Highway 111 and Windmill Road, and in proximity to several major employment and institutional centres, such as the Bedford Institute of Oceanography, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, the Tufts Cove Generating Station, Burnside Industrial Park, and Dartmouth Crossing. In 2017, abatement and demolition of 40 buildings on the site was completed. These buildings had deteriorated significantly since they were vacated in 2004. The elementary school, shown in light blue, is still operating and hosts students from across the municipality. This large opportunity site is ready for development and will add a significant amount of housing to the market to meet the needs of HRM's regional centre. Developing Canada Land's Shannon Park property also provides the opportunity to facilitate Millbrook First Nation in the development of their lands, as servicing and access connections will come through Canada Land's property. Canada Lands Company and WSP Canada have previously completed an extensive 18-month community and stakeholder engagement program and developed a preferred development concept for the redevelopment of this regionally significant property. The concept has been shared with the community, municipal and provincial agencies, and North Dartmouth community groups and Millbrook First Nation. A series of engagement activities were conducted throughout 2015 and 2016. This included a project introductory community meeting, a public ideas fair, 2 industry roundtable sessions, 2 community open houses focusing on concept scenarios and the preferred development concept, and a multitude of individual stakeholder meetings. In total, it is estimated that between 800 and 1,000 individuals were engaged throughout this period. In addition to these meetings, a public website was maintained, an email list of interested community members was developed, and updates were provided through a variety of platforms during the engagement period. 7 themes emerged throughout these engagement sessions: creating a mixed-use urban walkable community, taking full advantage of the waterfront, the site being a gateway to both Dartmouth and Halifax, environmental awareness and leadership, re-establishing the area as a social hub, commemoration, and taking a phased approach to development. These themes were used to develop 3 concept options, which were workshopped throughout the latter half of the engagement period. Through the feedback received, 6 core urban design principles were identified and a preferred development concept was determined. The principles reflect the public's and HRM's vision to develop a mixed-use, complete urban community at Shannon Park. These are vibrancy, the sentiment people feel when they are part of a place with a unique scale and intensity of design, elements that encourage human interaction and activity. Public realm, built forms, streetscape treatments, and public spaces providing an attractive and safe environment achieved through a network of pedestrian-focused streets, architectural details, shade, seating, adequate sidewalk widths, and other features. An integrated network of trails and open spaces also contributes to the creation of an attractive and functional public realm. Mobility, providing streets that are interconnected and offer a compact street grid with space for a variety of mobility options. An additional network of trails and pathways exclusive to pedestrians and cyclists is also desired. Land use and built form. Through integrating a range of land uses and human-scale built form, this mixed-use approach brings the everyday uses of the residents closer to their doorsteps, thus encouraging more sustainable mobility options and a higher quality public realm. Commemoration of the site's historical past will be prioritized, and the waterfront, through discussions with the broader community and industry members, it has been clear that the most valuable natural asset is the significant amount of frontage the site has on the Halifax Harbour. It was important that such a prominent natural asset is dedicated for public use. The waterfront area of Shannon Park has potential to become a vibrant and appealing public space where neighborhood residents and those from the broader HRM community can feel welcome and drawn to experience the prominent views and special feeling of the place. The preferred development concept for Shannon Park accommodates 3,000 residential units, which is approximately 7,000 residents, and approximately 13,500 square meters of commercial space. Provides a range of housing types to support a range of income levels, including townhouses, live-work units, medium and high multi-residential units. It offers a variety of park spaces to support a range of needs and interests, and this equates to between 15 and 22% parkland dedication. It supports continued operation of the Shannon Park School and provides important connections to Millbrook First Nations lands. Change was requested by HRM since the preferred development concept was presented by Canada Lands to the public in 2016 include the roundabout relocated to Princess Margaret Boulevard, relocation and expansion of the green beside the Shannon Park School, and the removal of the east-west pedestrian connection corridor in the south end of the site through the square. The preferred development concept includes a variety of proposed public spaces. These include the square, a large central public space that is in the shape of a wedge that expands towards the waterfront. This is intended to be a major activity hub for Shannon Park and the greater community. The public space is proposed to be lined with small-scale commercial uses and include benches, landscaping, and interactive play features to encourage public activity and interaction. The waterfront. This space includes the existing Canada 150 trail and look-off, and the area provides the opportunity for additional natural green space, park space opposite the square, and a proposed multi-use trail, further enhancing it as a destination for people to gather, interact, and enjoy the harbor views. While the lands have some areas with substantial grade, the concept recognizes that the waterfront is the most valuable natural asset and designates most of the waterfront space for public use. The green is east of the Shannon Park School and centrally located. This traditional public park space is proposed to be over 3 acres in area. This space acts as a natural transition between the school and the mixed commercial residential area adjacent to Windmill Road. The proposed public spaces also include small park parcels, which are spaces for community trails, enhancing connectivity throughout the neighborhood. The approval and construction of buildings are not being requested under the terms of the development agreement. Rather, buildings will go through a separate site plan approval process by the future builders following the development agreement, which will include public participation as required under the Regional Centre Secondary Municipal Planning Strategy. Following are the built form requirements being considered for inclusion within the development agreement. Having reduced setbacks from the street allows for human-scale, pedestrian-focused design. It's proposed to have 1.5 to 5 meter setbacks along the square, so patios and retail spill-out space can be accommodated within the properties. 0 to 3 meters setback along the main street, currently Iroquois Drive, and Collector A, currently Nootka Avenue, and 0 to 5 meters proposed along all other streets. The school property is proposed to be institutional, with a future option to be higher order residential 2 zone. Higher order residential 2 zone abutting the school property. Parks and Community Facility Zone for the park spaces and green spaces, and Center 2 zone on the other parcels, which allows a broad range of residential and commercial uses, such as offices, restaurants, and retail uses. Blocks are proposed to range from 3.5 to 9 floor area ratio. Highest floor area ratios near the McKay Bridge and Princess Margaret Boulevard. Lowest floor area ratios nearest the school, and mid-range floor area ratios throughout the rest of the site and along the square. The proposed maximum heights to range from 17 meters to 90 meters. Highest near Princess Margaret Boulevard and the McKay Bridge to buffer the rest of the neighborhood. Lowest near the school, and medium height along the square, which is proposed to be a pedestrian-oriented commercial street, the retail heart of the neighborhood. The proposed concept for Shannon Park represents a long-term vision for developing a mixed-use urban neighborhood. This vision will be implemented through a phased development approach. Taking into consideration servicing requirements and connections to adjacent neighborhoods and market conditions, it is envisioned that the development will be constructed in 4 phases, each comprising of a variety of housing types and community amenities. Phase 1, the extension of Collector A, currently Nootka Avenue, Collector C to Baffin Boulevard, a large portion of the park parcel adjacent the school, and Collector D connecting Millbrook First Nations lands. Phase 2, the southern portion of Main Street, currently Iroquois Drive, the square, and waterfront lands. Phase 3, the western portion of Collector A, adjacent the McKay Bridge. And Phase 4, lands to the north around the school, the connection of Main Street, currently Iroquois Drive, to Princess Margaret Boulevard, with the new roundabout, and lands adjacent the CN Rail corridor near Windmill Road.
While the development agreement will cover broad aspects such as road layout, park and trail locations, zones, and some of the built form requirements such as building setback and heights, Canada Lands will also be undertaking a separate urban design guidelines study. Building on the design requirements within the Regional Centre Land Use Bylaw, this study is intended to produce an urban design and commemoration strategy which will ensure a cohesively designed community constructed with our builder partners. Following the approval of the development agreement, Canada Lands intends to commence work on detailed engineering, which would be followed by the construction of new streets and services, the subdivision of the property, and the sale of development blocks to industry. Once sales have been completed, our industry building partners will begin their own site planning, approvals, marketing, and construction work. We would like to thank you for your continued engagement and interest in the redevelopment of our Shannon Park lands and look forward to your feedback regarding our proposal. If you have any specific questions of Canada Lands or our operations, you're welcome to reach out to us at info@clc.ca.